Alright, hello everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a review of this mouse right here, the Vaxee and Zygen NP-01, specifically in the glossy coating, which is what I have, but for all intents and purposes, it's a review of the mouse overall. If you guys have been watching my videos, you've seen this mouse on my desk for several weeks now. It's been my main mouse since the moment I got it. I decided that I wanted to review it before I got the paracord for it, because the cord is one of the downsides to this mouse, and I want to make sure that I include that in the review because not everyone who is buying this mouse is intending to mod it, and if you're not intending to mod it, it's important to know what it's like in stock form. So, first off, this mouse is very comparable to an S series mouse. It is very comparable to an S2. If I had to describe the shape, it is an S2 shape that slopes down quicker and is much more comfortable due to the ergo side. Just to be clear here, it is not an S shape with an ergo side slapped on in place of the right symmetrical side. But that's what it's most comparable to, and as I'm pretty sure most people at this point have tried an S-series mouse, I feel like that's a comparison point that I can make and that people can understand. But it is a mouse that I would recommend. I'd recommend this mouse for most grip types. If you look at it from the side, you can see that there's definitely more of a slope downwards than there is towards the front. Whereas if you look at something like the G Pro X Superlight, right, the slope is perfectly in the middle, and then it slopes down relatively equally on either side. Now, if you look at this mouse, it's comparable to the G Pro Superlight, but as you can tell, it slopes down much more in the back than it does in the front. Additionally, if you look at it in the middle, you'll see that this right side has extreme contouring and it gets very skinny right in the middle. However, there's this big, wrong side. There's this big side over here, and that's with that very comfortable right ergo side. The grips that I would recommend this mouse for, I think it's kind of weird for palm. I think if you have small hands, you can palm this mouse. However, if you are interested in a palm grip shape, I think I would point you towards an Outset AX or a EC series. However, you can certainly palm this mouse. And if you're interested in this mouse and you are a palm grip user, I still recommend you try it. Fingertip, I have never been a big fingertip person, so I am. If you are a finger grip user and you are wondering whether or not you should use this mouse in a fingertip grip, go look at the review of someone who does use fingertip grip. But I can attempt to fingertip this, and I think that it's not objectively uncomfortable. I know that a lot of people like to fingertip the G Pro X, and this mouse is certainly more comfortable for fingertip. Whenever I'm looking to fingertip a mouse, I only really I would only try to fingertip symmetrical mice because I think that symmetrical side gives you more to get your fingers under. But you can certainly fingertip this mouse. You can totally claw it. I think this mouse is best for claw grip, because the bottom of this mouse right here is extremely comfortable, and it does fill up your palm really well. My hands are 20.5 centimeters by 10 centimeters wide, so I have pretty big hands. And this mouse has not felt too small at all. However, if you've been following my channel since the beginning, you know very well that length for me is much more important than width, hence why I used this mouse right here, the FK2, for so long, even though everybody says this is a small mouse and a mouse for small hands. I used this mouse and I aimed really well with it because that small grip width allowed me to aim, and this long length allowed it to be comfortable for me. So this mouse definitely has that, but it also is just so comfortable because of this base, and that this base also gives me extreme stability in my aim, while also being able to comfortably move it everywhere I want and feeling like I'm very much in control because of this side right here allowing me to put my thumb in there. And being able to put my thumb like that gives me a lot of control over this mouse, and it makes me feel like I have that stability, but I also am able to put it wherever I want. So that's everything about the shape. Now when it comes to things that aren't the shape, I feel like this mouse isn't fantastic. The clicks are excellent. Like, the clicks on this mouse are amazing. This mouse has some of the best clicks I've ever used. I'll show them to you. So this is left click. This is right click. This is middle click. This is scroll. This is mouse 4. And this is mouse 5. So the clicks feel really nice on this mouse. There's no pre or post travel. Well, there's no pre-travel on any buttons. There is a little bit of post travel on both of the on actually pretty much every click, except for mouse 4 has a little bit of post travel. Mouse 5 has a little bit of post travel. Mouse 1 has just the teeniest little bit of post travel, and mouse 2 the same thing. So there is a little bit of post travel on all the buttons. However, with mouse 1 and 2 at least, I don't actually mind the post travel. If you look at House Gaming's video on this mouse, which is actually the review that made me decide to try this mouse out, I'll make sure to link it in the description. If you look at his review, he gives a really good reasoning for why he likes a little bit of the post travel, and that's pretty much because it makes the clicks a lot more spammable. So this amount of post travel I don't mind. I think that it's definitely something worth mentioning because it's not a strict upside, but for me, this amount of post travel is actually very fine. The scroll wheel, it feels like a slightly better Zowie scroll wheel. It's incredibly tactile, and it's a very stiff middle click, but it is very loud. I really like these type of scroll wheels because I use a 2-mouse setup. As you guys know, I use this MX Master 3 when I'm not playing games, and because of that, the browsability of a mouse is not something that's important to me. Therefore, I really like this scroll wheel because I can bind abilities to it in-game. It gives me very tactile feedback. I know when my ability has been activated. And this middle click is also very stiff and lets me bind abilities to it as well. So, for gaming, I think this is an excellent scroll wheel. However, if you are looking for an end-all be-all mouse and you don't have a 2-mouse setup, or you're not interested in a 2-mouse setup, this is going to be a downside for you. So that's the clicks and the shape. The cable, as I've alluded to earlier in the video, is not fantastic. Oh, there goes my cat. If you have a first batch Model O, okay, don't be alarmed. This is not a Model O. This is an FK2. However, it has my Model O cable because at some point I paracorted my Model O and just had a cable lying around. So don't be alarmed, but this is a Model O cable. If you have a original first batch Model O, the cable is very comparable. It is stiff, it is incredibly thick, it is not a good cable necessarily. However, it doesn't necessarily get in your way, and I would say as long as you have the cable in a bungee, you are probably fine. And like, I have not once, I mean, oftentimes when I get a Zowie mouse, if I'm waiting for the paracord in the mail, I am incredibly annoyed. With this mouse, I have not, I mean, I have plenty of paracord mice. I could have been using a different mouse if I wanted to, but I wasn't because this cable is not enough of an annoyance that I felt I had to use a different mouse. If I do the little push test, as you can see, it's pretty easy to push the mouse with the cable. But if you have it up in a bungee, you don't really notice it. Is it a bad cable? Yes. Is it a cable that you should replace? Yes. Is it a reason not to buy this mouse if you're interested in the shape? No. Now, looking onto the bottom of the mouse, we have these white PTFE feet. I believe they're PTFE. In all honesty, they haven't really felt like PTFE feet, but they felt really nice. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna put aftermarket skates on here. But like, I would not, if I weren't paracording this mouse, I wouldn't replace the feet. Like, these feet are honestly really, really smooth. they're decently fast. They're not like fast mouse feet, but they are decently fast. They're really thin. Like there's, I don't know if that's, they're like really, really thin. And if I push down on the mouse, I can definitely feel the middle of it touching the mouse pad. So they're really, really thin mouse feet, but they are pretty smooth. And as long as you, unless you either have an extra soft artisan pad, or you are just fucking the most heavy-handed person in the world and you shove your mouse into your mouse pad, you aren't going to notice how thin they are. But a lot of people have extra soft mouse pads, and there are plenty of people who just shove their mouse in their mouse pad. But if you aren't one of those people, then you're going to be just fine with these mouse feet. And in terms of texture, they're wonderful. Yeah, if you were looking at the bottom of the mouse, you'll see these 3 buttons. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch, but basically you can control debounce time, polling rate, and DPI, which is really, really nice. The debounce time change is fucking awesome. That means that you can, if it ever starts to double click, you can actually fix that without taking it apart. You might still want to take it apart and fix the switches, but it's nice. Additionally, you can change the lift-off distance. There is no software for this mouse. For all intents and purposes, this is a Zowie mouse. So everything you know about Zowie mice is true for this mouse. Like literally everything. Like you change lift-off distance the same way. So I'm pretty sure that's all I have to say about this mouse. It is overall conclusion. It is a great mouse. I think it's similar to Zowie mice in that it's a fantastic shape, but it has a pretty shitty cable. And if you can upgrade that cable, it's pretty good. Build quality is absolutely incredible. Like there's no flex to it anywhere. At no point have I like wished that there was more build quality. It's an incredible mouse. It's really, really well built. I believe it's only like 75 grams, which is a pretty good weight. It's a fantastic mouse. I'm pretty sure that everything about the NP-01S is the same as the NP-01. So if you're interested in the 01S, it's probably going to be very similar to this mouse. But go watch another review if you're interested in the NP-01S. But yeah, do I recommend this mouse? I recommend this mouse to people who are very into their peripherals and who are interested in making them as good as they can be. Because I think if you paracord this mouse, it is a top-tier option. It's an excellent shape. And then also, if you're very into peripherals and have a second mouse you can use when you're browsing, because this one is not good for browsing, then I think you're in a great spot. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this video was helpful to anyone interested in purchasing this mouse. And I will see you guys later.